Welcome back to Homespun Homemaking with Kathy's Heart Creations, where today I am sharing with you a dresser I turned into a kitchen island. Creating a kitchen island from an old dresser is a popular and a practical DIY project that can add character and function to your space. The process typically involves modifying the dresser's structure, adding a durable countertop, and finishing it to match your kitchen's decor. Now that the Christmas baking is behind us, I wanted to bring you along as I clean and organize my baking center kitchen island that I created from an old dresser. Now, this isn't just any ordinary dresser. It is a dresser with a history. 5 generations have used this furniture. It is made from solid cherry wood and first belonged to my husband's grandmother, who passed it down to her son, my husband's father. It was then passed down to my husband when we first got married. It was a suite of furniture: a bed, a dresser, a chest of drawers, and a dressing table that we used as a desk. Several years later, it became our daughter's bedroom set. And 25 years after that, it became my granddaughter's bedroom furniture. As the years went by, some of the furniture pieces were sold individually. I received the dresser back in early 2020 after my granddaughter moved out on her own. It fit my kitchen space perfectly, and I decided to turn it into a baking center kitchen island. I had always wanted a baking center where I could have all my supplies at my fingertips, and having an island is so convenient when cooking and baking, and also can double as a buffet. I removed the back from the dresser and replaced it with a piece of beadboard to add more farmhouse character to it. I painted the sides and the back black, leaving the top and the front in the warm wood tones that coordinated with my kitchen cabinets. I did not have the funds to purchase a slab of marble and have it installed, so I purchased 2 marble pastry boards, 20 by 16 each, and added that instead. It was less expensive and easy enough for me to install by myself. Coming up next is a video clip from my pumpkin pie season video with me rolling out a pie crust on my island. I will leave a link to this video in the description below. This, by the way, this island, this is my baking island. This is actually an old dresser. And one of these days I'm going to do a video and show you what I did with this old dresser. How I transformed it into my baking center. I have all of my supplies in one spot. This, I will tell you a little bit backstory on it. It used to be part of a bedroom set. Actually was my husband's and my first bedroom set. It had belonged to his grandmother and his nana. And then it was passed down to my daughter. It was her first bedroom set growing up. And then when she had a child, a little girl, this belonged to her as her first bedroom suit as well. But then as she grew up, moved out, started a family of her own, really didn't need this dresser any longer. And so my daughter was trying to repurpose her daughter's old bedroom. And I said, well, let me measure and see whether or not I can find somewhere to do it. I like to take something and try to reuse it if I can. Good morning, friends. It's Kathy with Homespun Homemaking with Kathy's Heart Creations. I am creating a new video on how to create a baking center out of an old dresser. And what I'm about to start now in this portion of the video is to take everything out of the drawers, clean and organize, and I'm going to take you along on this trip, and I want to explain to you why I enjoy having this dresser rather than just a store-bought island, kitchen island. Baking center is really what this is. It enables me to be able to store things that are long, like the large boxes of the extra wide aluminum foil, big sheets of parchment paper, that sort of thing. So I'm going to turn you off now and get myself prepared, and I'm going to take everything out piece by piece, and hopefully this won't be too boring for you. But what I'm hoping, though, is that it inspires you to think out of the box. For me, this was a budget thing, and I'm also somebody who likes to repurpose things, rather than letting things go out of the house. It's like, is there a way that I can use it in a different manner than what it was intended? And that's exactly what has happened with this dresser. Okay, I hope you can see this. This is actually the center drawer, and I'm going to start with the middle drawer first, because this is where I have more of my items that are longer. Like I have the silicone mat that I roll my pie dough out on. This needs to be curled up. I don't know about you, but when I'm a messy person, when I am baking and creating and whatnot, I don't always put everything back in perfect place as it should, because things get into a hurry and you just kind of want to put it away and get rid of it. But here's one of the longer pieces that I was telling you about. I don't know how you store the extra long, heavy duty aluminum foil packages, but this works for me, where I can just reach down in there and I can get it out. Also, my parchment paper. I buy the parchment paper that comes in these little kind of boxes, but I prefer buying the full sheets, and I get these from King Arthur. You can get them off the internet, but I like having the convenience of the sheets. So here I've got another box of aluminum foil that has not been opened. Bread bags. This is something I keep on hand because I like to make homemade bread, particularly homemade sourdough bread, and I do it all by hand. I don't use a machine. I don't know if I need to maybe move this camera up just a bit. I'm going to probably be tinkering with that a little bit because I'm not the best camera person, but I'm trying. These little half sheets, I take the full sheets and I usually cut them in half, and I've only got one left evidently, and I didn't put it back in this bag that I use for the little quarter, I guess they call them quarter sheet pans. And so that's what I do with that. Over the years, and I don't use these nearly as much now, but over the years, after Christmas, I used to pick up the plastic bags, the little cellophane bags for Christmas goodies. Well, I don't do a lot of that anymore for gift giving, because I don't have as many people in my life. When you're in your 70s, it seems like everybody, life just changes quickly. So, cupcake papers. I keep them all in a Ziploc bag together. Now this I don't have to take all the way out, but I do want to show you how I organize things. As you can see, this is just an ordinary plastic El Cheapo dollar store shoebox. And in this shoebox, I have the basting brushes, silicone and the regular ones. And here's another one here. I have my juicer. Well, I guess I better get that down here this way. My juicer. And here's a couple of more basters. And see, this is where you get in trouble. If you don't stay on top of what you already have, you end up having multiples. But that's okay, because that way you don't have to wash everything up all the time. There's a, what do you call these? The dough blender, with the butter and the. I don't use this much anymore. It cuts in. One of those. Candy thermometer. These are just extra servers. And I really don't use these anymore either, which is a kind of a sad thing. When you get to be my age, you know, a lot of this stuff you don't use anymore. This is an ice to spread icing. It's a spatula, and this is nice. I like using these. Oh, this is for the candy. Oh, this is for the candy thermometer. And it gives me the frying guides and the temperatures and all. And here's another one. I have 2 of these. So if one's being used, I still have another one to use. Now, I'm not sure why I have these in here. At some point, I used them. Paintbrushes. So these are going to get washed up and they'll be put out in my craft room. So I can eliminate those. Now I am going to clean out the crumbs in this box. I'm going to be going behind you to the sink. Kind of rinsing things out. Now I'm going to reach behind here and get a kitchen towel and dry it out. And you can see I like to reuse, this is from 1968. This is what used to be a calendar towel. The linen, I love the fabric these are made out of because they're very absorbent and they dry the dishes very, very well. And so I have kept them over the years, and even when we used to go to a crafts show down in McIntosh, Florida, there was a lady who went around and purchased these from estate sales, these linen kitchen towels. And I used to buy one from her every time I would go to that sale. Well, I haven't been there in a lot of years, and I'm not even sure if she's still there or not. But I have a good supply of them, and I just love them. So anyway, I'm going to put that back in the drawer, back here. And I'm going to try to do this like the candy thermometer I don't use very often. These cake servers I probably should just get rid of, pass them down or whatever. But for now, they're just going to go in there. These I use quite often in baking. So these will stay on top where I can get to them easily. Candy thermometers I don't use very often. They can go in the bottom. And these offset spatulas can also go here in the shoebox. And then I'm going to put this in on the side, and the juicer will go on top. That can go in there, and that's another paintbrush. I'm going to put that out in the craft room. And that's my paper, cupcake papers. Oh, and I guess I should show you what's in the very, very back. Behind there is another shoebox. What this holds is miscellaneous items. There's a pastry wheel. And there's more cupcake papers. That needs to go there. This is an egg slicer from years ago, which I very rarely use anymore. Icing bags. Butter slicer and an apple slicer. And twist ties. Lots of twist ties. And then, I also, this is, it used to be after Christmas I would buy, you know, the paper bags and whatnot, because you could get them for real cheap. You know, to put goodies in, you know, you bag them up in those cellophane bags, and then you would wrap them up in this and give to neighbors or friends or whatnot. I don't do that much anymore. And if I do, I usually use a tin. but I'm going to keep it just the same. All right, what else is in this drawer? There's more of those cellophane bags, so that's going to go back here in the shoebox with the brown paper bags. This is an empty parchment paper bag, Ziploc. I was saving it for something, so I'm going to put it over here on the counter, and I will store that away where I can repurpose that. And these are some other items I've just kind of put in here. There's a recipe for royal icing, and there's a couple of little catalogs from King Arthur. They're good references, and so I usually like to keep them. Okay, so I'll finish putting those away. I don't know whether I showed you this. These are vintage antique cake testers. So if you don't have, I have two of them. One's yellow, one's red. So I don't know if that means the difference in years. 50s maybe. And I don't know. Maybe this was 40s. I don't know. Anyway, they work. And I like having those. My pizza cutter goes in here. And I keep a calculator so I can compute things. I don't have to sit and think to do it. The other things that I have in here, and I'm going to put these away while I'm talking to you. This is my food scale, which I love. I mean, it can help with portion control. It's good when you're measuring your ingredients out for sourdough. And I just got one simple one from Publix, very inexpensive. These are gloves. I keep those on hand in case I'm going to be working with food coloring or something. Kitchen shears go in here. Toothpicks. I have a little plastic container I keep them in. This I don't think I need. I don't know. This is for I might keep that. That it tells you when your meat and things are. This is for my meat thermometer when I test them. Anyway, you're going to laugh when you see this because I have multiples of measuring cups, and I've done that intentionally. Over the years, I have either purchased them. This is Tupperware. Both of these are Tupperware. One of these, I'm not sure which one, or ones I had bought, from Tupperware parties years ago. And then another one I found a set at a garage sale, and so I picked them up. This is something else that's here. These are just silicone sheets that you put on your cookie sheets to keep your cookies from sticking. I keep those in here. And I took just a little inexpensive plastic container. And you'll laugh at these also because you'll think, how many measuring spoons does one person need? Well, if I'm doing a lot of baking at one time, that way I don't have to wash everything up. I can just grab it and go as I need it. Bench scraper. And these are the plastic ones as well. But this is probably the best tool. I love this thing. And so I just usually stack them up here, and then the little container that has the measuring spoons are right here. Everything's right at my fingertips. This came with something, but I'm not sure what. It's got I don't know, a 2-cup measure. It holds about 2 cups of something, but I don't remember what gadget I got it with. But I decided to keep it because I use it kind of like an overfill. And so I keep all of my measuring cups, the sets, here in the drawer next to my measuring spoons. And so everything's just right here at my fingertips. Whenever I need something for a recipe, it's just right here. I know exactly where to go to look for it. Oh, and I need to put my cookie press back in here in the drawer. And that way I'll know where it is when I need it. Okay, so that ends the top drawer. So now let me turn you off, and I'm going to get the bottom drawer ready. Okay, this is the bottom drawer, the last drawer of the dresser. And this is filled with miscellaneous items. I guess I will start from this end and work my way around. These are muffin tins that I've inherited over the years. Well, there's another set of the English muffin rings. I think they were up here. No, they were in this drawer, I believe. Yes. So I need to keep those together. And see, that's what happens when you just put things away quickly. These are pie crust shields, and quite honestly, I have used them very infrequently. I have a bag full of plastic cutlery and napkin things that you get when you order a fast food meal. If I need them, I've got them. I have, this is a springform pan. And I also have an angel food cake pan. I used to use those more than I do now. And then I have a bundt pan. And here is another angel food cake pan. I used to make raisin cake in this. Haven't made a raisin cake in a long time. But I still keep it. You know, if I've got the room to store it, I don't have a problem keeping it. So we'll put those cake pans up there for the time being. And another thing you will laugh at that I have on hand, that most people probably don't, are ice cube trays. There was a time when my refrigerator ice maker wasn't producing ice, and it had just stopped out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know why. And then all of a sudden it just came back again. So I keep these just in case. They're also good for freezing orange juice or lemon juice, or even herbs. You know, you can put in oil and freeze them in the little cubes, and then you've got what you need when you need it. Now, I probably should get rid of some of these muffin tins. I don't really need them. And this one's they're not pretty because they're old, but they're still functional. And I don't use them much. I'm not much on muffins. But if I need them, I've got them. And this is a little mini muffin tray that I bought from Pampered Chef. Well, if any of you have been to a Pampered Chef party, you probably know some of that stuff doesn't get used. But what I'm going to do, now that I've got things out, I can kind of try to organize them neatly. So the next thing I've got to do is cake pans. Let's see. I've also got in here, and you'll laugh at this too, because it makes me look like I'm a hoarder, and I'm really not. These are thermoses from the 1970s. My daughter, I think, used to take these in her lunchbox, and I used to use this when I worked and took my lunch to work. But don't use those anymore either. I think what I'm going to do, in here I've also stored these little portable lunch boxes, and yes, these coolers, and yes, I do still use those. So that is something that I do keep with me. Well, these muffin trays are not cooperating. And I've got a big cooler too, and this has got a hard surface on the inside. This is one of my favorites. It carries up quite a lot. And so even though I don't really use them a whole lot, they're there when I need them. Another thing I have stored in here is little salt and pepper shakers where I can put it in the coolers if I need to take something with me. And that's very handy. There. Ice cube trays I'm going to set. Try to set on top those muffin dishes, muffin pans. Then, let's see, my cake pans go here in the bottom. I don't know if they're both going to fit on there. Yes, it will. No, they won't. Okay. So, if I turn that upside down, yes. No, just barely. Okay, so I guess that means I need to let something go. And what shall it be? That's a springform pan. I hate to let it go because by the time I let it go, then I'm going to want it for something. And I don't know how. I had this stacked in here. I should have paid attention. Well, I guess I don't really need this if I've got the others. Or I can let this Teflon one go. This one I'll keep. This one I've had since I got married. I guess I'm being too nostalgic with it. I guess there's really no point in keeping it. Set that over there and I'll let that one go. Okay, so that fits in there. That there. These are old recipe cards. These are recipe cards that have not been used. I guess I put it down here where you can see it. They're all still in good shape. I don't use recipe cards anymore, but I keep them anyway. You never know. If I decide I want to write one down, I can. Put this in here. Put that back behind. And we'll put this in here, and that completes the drawer. Forgot my thermos. Put that right there. Push these down. And voila, that's all three drawers. And that's what I use for my baking center, where I've got everything where I need it. Up on the wall here, if they're in the background. Let's see, this way. See that up there? That's my rolling pins. And I just keep them stored there. They're part of my decor and I use them too. So I don't store them in my baking center, but they're right close by. And that area over there is my prep area, where I prepare the food. So everything's in close proximity. And for me, it has worked out well. This is good for the refrigerators across there, for taking things out of the refrigerator and setting them on the counter or on this board. Same thing when I take food out of the oven. I can set a mat down and set it here, and it's just very convenient. I've even done Christmas buffets and whatnot on the top of this, and so that's worked out too. So just something to get you to think outside the box. Just because it's not designated as a baking center or designated as an island doesn't mean you can't use it, or you can't use something different. So before you throw something away, or if you know somebody that's giving something away, think about it. If it's something that you can repurpose into something. Being a homemaker for most of my life, it's things like this that really enhance your life, but it doesn't cost you a lot of money. And so, I'm not as poor as I was when I was first starting out as a young wife. But I still think that way. You know, it's how can I stretch my money? How can I make it go further? I think it's just good money management. So anyway, enough of the chatter. I'm going to go on and get ready and go out and do some yard work. It's a beautiful day out here in Florida. I'm putting down some mortar on the top of my homemade patio blocks that I'd done years and years ago. So I'm trying to give it a refresh. So I'm going to get ready, change my clothes, and go out there and get all grubby and try to get another project knocked out before it gets dark. So I will see you all soon. I hope this helps you. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to leave a comment, to like this video, to subscribe to this video. I'm just a small channel, and that will help me eons to start to build my following, to see that other people are interested. So if there's any questions you have on this island or how to organize your kitchen, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I will respond to you as soon as I can. So I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.